You ever meet someone and think, wait, how are they that age? Not in a suspicious way, more like awe. There's this glow, this lightness, this aliveness. And it doesn't come from a cream, a serum, or a filter. It's something deeper, more earned than applied. Today, I want to explore the 7 hidden reasons, the ones beneath the surface, that you look younger than your age. And no, it's not about luck. It's about how you've lived. Not the nosy kind, not the I need to know your business kind. I'm talking about the deep heart-level curiosity, the kind that looks at the world and asks, what else is possible instead of why bother? You see, life has a way of testing us. Disappointment, betrayal, burnout, those things can shape us. And for many people, they slowly chip away at wonder until all that's left is a hardened, skeptical lens. Cynicism starts to feel safer. Like a shield, you assume the worst so you can't be disappointed. You disengage so you won't be hurt. You stop being surprised so you won't feel foolish. But here's the thing, cynicism might protect you from pain, but it also steals your vitality. It dulls your spark. It ages you, not just in your face, but in your spirit. Curiosity, on the other hand, keeps you open. It keeps you soft in a world that tells you to toughen up. It lets you say, maybe there's something I don't know yet, or maybe that person's not just being rude, maybe they're hurting. Curiosity is what makes you ask someone how they really are and wait for the answer. It's what drives you to learn new things, read new books, try new recipes, take a different route home just because it's Tuesday and why not? When you live with curiosity, your brain stays engaged, your heart stays pliable, and your energy, it stays fresh. Think about someone who's deeply curious. They lean in when they talk to you. Their eyes light up when they hear something new. They're still interested in people, in stories, in growth. That presence is magnetic, and it reads as youth, not because they're trying to look young, but because they're still awake to life. So yes, maybe you have some laugh lines. Maybe your hair's got a few more silvers. But your spirit, it's still wide open, still seeking, still stretching, still surprised by the goodness of a sunrise or the magic of a good question. And that curiosity, it's kept you young in all the ways that matter. Let's be honest, surface level relationships are everywhere, and they're easy. A quick scroll, a heart emoji, a thinking of you text sent while doing 3 other things. It's not that they're bad, it's just that they don't feed you, not really. But you've chosen something different. You've made the courageous decision to show up for real connection, not just contact connection. You understand that the quality of your relationships isn't measured by the number of names in your phone, but by the few people who would drop everything if you said, I need you. Deep connection is a choice. It's a commitment. It says, I'm not just here for the highlight reel. I want the real stuff, the messy, the meaningful, the vulnerable. And here's what makes this so powerful. Connection literally changes you. Emotionally, neurologically, even physically. People who maintain strong, trusting relationships age more slowly. Their stress levels are lower, their immune system stronger, their smiles more genuine. That's not just feel-good science, it's real. Your body knows when you're safe, when you're seen, when you're loved. And it shows. But connection is more than just having people around you. It's about the way you relate. You ask real questions and you wait for real answers. You don't shy away from hard conversations. You lean into them with tenderness. You remember birthdays and funerals and the name of your friend's dog. You laugh big, cry deeply, and you don't need people to be perfect. You just need them to be real. That kind of connection is rare, and that kind of presence, it glows. You've also likely done the hard internal work to be able to connect in the first place. You've taken your walls down brick by brick. You've let yourself be loved even when it felt risky. And you've learned that intimacy isn't weakness, it's strength. There's something almost luminous about a person who's deeply connected to others. Their energy is grounded. Their spirit is calm. They don't walk into a room trying to prove themselves. They walk in looking for others. That kind of love radiates, and that kind of radiance, you can't fake it. You can't bottle it. You become it. So yes, the world might tell you that youth is about skin and size and serums, but you know better. Youth is about aliveness, and nothing keeps you more alive than loving and being loved in return. You've made that your priority, and it shows. Not in a vague, positive vibes only kind of way. I mean in the raw, unedited, behind closed doors kind of way. You've embraced something powerful, self-compassion. And no, that's not the same as self-indulgence or pretending everything's fine. It's deeper, it's bolder. It's the practice of telling yourself the truth with kindness, of meeting your mistakes, your aging body, your unmet goals, not with shame or criticism, but with gentleness. Let's be clear, this didn't happen overnight. You didn't just wake up one day with a soft, loving inner voice. Most of us are trained from a young age to be our own harshest critics, to equate worth with achievement, to measure ourselves by impossible standards. So the fact that you've slowly unlearned that, that's the real work. You've traded in the toxic loop of not enough for something much more healing. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got today. And that shift, it has changed your life. It's allowed you to rest when you need to without guilt. It's let you set boundaries not out of defensiveness, but out of self-respect. It's taught you to look in the mirror and see a whole person, not a list of flaws to fix. You've stopped talking to yourself like an enemy and started treating yourself like someone you love, someone worthy of grace, someone who doesn't have to earn rest or joy or softness. That kind of internal shift doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your entire being. Because the way we treat ourselves inside, it eventually shows up outside. Did you ever notice how someone looks when they're at peace with themselves? Their shoulders relax, their eyes soften, their presence is calmer, steadier, less performative. There's a glow there, a lightness. And that glow, that's what makes you look younger. Not your moisturizer, not your diet, not the filter on your latest post. It's the years you spent untangling your worth from your weight. The compassion you extended to yourself after the divorce, the layoff, the failure. The forgiveness you practiced for the parts of yourself you used to hide. Self-compassion isn't fluffy, it's fierce. It's the opposite of giving up. It's showing up for yourself every day with tenderness and truth. And let's be real, when you stop beating yourself up, everything softens. Your face, your body, your energy. You stop carrying invisible armor. You don't bristle at every imperfection. You don't hustle for love. You become a safe place for yourself first and then for others. So while the world may chase you through injections and procedures, you've taken a wiser path. You've chosen to age with kindness. to meet yourself with the same grace you offer everyone else, to wear your years not as shame, but as proof of love lived and lessons learned. That's not just beautiful, it's timeless. And I don't mean performing emotions for others or giving them a polite little nod before shoving them back down with a smile. I mean really feeling them, sitting with them, listening to them, honoring them as valid messengers instead of treating them like enemies. You've learned something many people spend their whole lives avoiding. Suppressing emotions doesn't protect you. It stores them in your body, in your mind, in your cells. Anger that isn't expressed turns inward as resentment or illness. Grief that's denied doesn't disappear, it hardens. Fear that's silent starts to take over in other ways. Anxiety, control, numbness. But you've chosen the harder, braver path to process your emotions, to face them instead of fleeing from them, to feel them instead of fixing, numbing, or denying. And that kind of emotional integrity, it's not just good for your heart, it literally keeps you young. When you feel your emotions, you release tension instead of carrying it around in your jaw, your shoulders, your gut. You breathe deeper. Your body doesn't have to stay in a constant low-grade state of fight or flight. Your nervous system feels safer, and that internal safety radiates outward. Here's what else is true. People who allow themselves to feel deeply often live more lightly. You've cried when you needed to. You've screamed in your car just to get it out. You've journaled through the chaos, danced through the pain, or simply sat on the floor and said, "This is really hard," without needing to fix it. You've stopped apologizing for being emotional. You've stopped treating grief, anger, disappointment, or fear as weaknesses. You've stopped pretending that everything is fine when it isn't, and that authenticity, that honesty, you've made you magnetic. Because when you process your emotions instead of suppressing them, a few amazing things happen. You stay emotionally agile. You bounce back faster. You don't get stuck. You become more empathetic. Your capacity to hold space for others grows. You stop walking through life like a clenched fist. You soften. And soft doesn't mean weak. Soft means free. Free from pretending. Free from performing. Free from all the pent-up, unspoken things that keep us rigid and closed off. There's a brightness to people who've made peace with their own inner weather, a calm that says, whatever comes up, I can handle it. I don't have to run. And that kind of emotional fluency, it's rare, it's beautiful. And yes, it keeps you looking and feeling younger. So no, you haven't stayed young by accident. You've chosen truth over tension. You've made room for the full spectrum of your humanity. And in doing that, you've given your body, your mind, and your heart the gift of relief. That relief, that exhale, that's what people see in your eyes when they say, "You look amazing, what's your secret?" It's not a secret. It's emotional honesty. And it shows. The body that carried you through heartbreak and held your joy. The body that got you out of bed when it was the last thing you wanted to do. The body that changed shape as life changed seasons. You've made a radical, beautiful choice in a world that constantly screams, "Fix yourself." You've chosen to move your body from a place of love, not punishment. That changes everything. You're not dragging yourself to the gym because you hate your thighs. You're not skipping meals because the scale scared you this morning. You're not treating your body like a project to perfect. You're treating it like a partner to care for. At that shift, it's sacred. Because when movement becomes a way to celebrate your body instead of shame it, your energy shifts, your presence changes. You move with grace, not guilt. And that grace, it shows. Some people move their bodies as a form of control. You've chosen to move as an act of kindness. Maybe you stretch in the mornings just to feel yourself come alive. Maybe you dance in the kitchen when your favorite song plays. Maybe you walk or garden or practice yoga, not to burn calories, but to reconnect with yourself. You know, the joy of movement, the pleasure of inhabiting your body, not just managing it. And let's not pretend that this journey has been easy. You've had to unlearn decades of messaging that told you your body was only valuable if it looked a certain way. You've had to silence the inner voice that whispered you're falling behind. You've had to replace no pain, no gain with no love, no point. And you did it. You redefined fitness not as flat abs or marathon medals, but as feeling alive in your skin. You stopped obsessing over what your body looks like and started focusing on what it can do, how it feels, how it carries your spirit through the world. And here's what people don't tell you. That kind of loving relationship with your body radiates. You carry yourself differently. You don't shrink to take up less space. You expand into who you are. You smile more. You breathe deeper. You move like you belong because you do. And yes, people notice. They might say you're glowing or you've got this amazing energy about you. What they're really seeing, freedom. You're not at war with your body anymore. You're not punishing it for the pizza or pushing it through a workout it hates. You're in partnership with it. You listen to it. You care for it. You move with it, not against it. And that choice to move from love instead of fear, that's what's keeping you young. Because your body doesn't need to be perfect to be precious. It just needs to be loved. And you've done that. You've chosen to honor the miracle of movement. You've chosen to move with joy. And that joy, it lingers in your posture, in your rhythm, in your glow. That's not vanity. That's vitality. And it's one of the quiet, powerful reasons people look at you and wonder, how does she do it? She moves with love. And love, my friend, is ageless. That might not sound radical on the surface, but in a culture that glorifies exhaustion, that measures your worth by your productivity, that praises the hustle but punishes the pause, choosing to rest is an act of rebellion. Choosing to play, that's liberation. You've decided that burnout isn't a badge of honor, that collapse isn't a sustainable lifestyle, that your body and your spirit deserve more than just survival. And here's the beautiful part. You didn't just make space for naps or the occasional weekend off. You went deeper. You stopped believing the lie that rest is laziness. You stopped feeling guilty for slowing down. You started to believe what's always been true. Rest is a form of wisdom, and play is a form of healing. Rest isn't about weakness, it's about recalibration. You rest because you know your energy is sacred, and when you burn it without boundaries, everything suffers. Your health, your mood, your creativity, your joy. So now you rest before you're completely depleted. You listen when your body says enough. You don't wait for a crash to justify a break. And as for play, you've reclaimed it. You've remembered that joy doesn't need a purpose, that laughing until your stomach hurts is medicine, that silliness is holy, that play isn't just for kids, it's for anyone who wants to stay alive. And you color outside the lines. You say yes to spontaneous adventures. You let yourself get excited about things that aren't useful or productive. You dance even when no one's watching, maybe especially when no one's watching. You've taken off the armor of being serious enough to be respected. You've realized that joy and credibility are not mutually exclusive. You can be wise and lighthearted, grounded and playful. In fact, the combination, it's magnetic. That's what makes people stop and wonder how you're aging in reverse. They think it's your skincare, but really, it's your soul. It's the twinkle in your eye that says, I still know how to have fun. It's the peace in your posture that says, I don't need to earn rest anymore. I'm allowed to be still. When you honor rest, your face softens. When you honor play, your spirit shines. There's a softness, a spark of vitality that can't be faked. It comes from honoring the rhythms of life instead of resisting them. So yes, maybe you've got a few more laugh lines now. Those lines, that's where the light gets in. That's the map of all the moments you chose, joy over judgment, pause over push, wonder over worry. That's what makes you glow. You've remembered what the world tries to make us forget. We were made for more than just doing. We were made for delight, and delight is ageless. Wait, how are you that age? And maybe you smile, maybe you laugh it off, but deep down, you know the truth. This isn't about luck. It's not just good genes. And it's certainly not about the number on a jar or a scale or a birthday cake. It's about how you've chosen to live. You've chosen curiosity over cynicism. You've chosen connection over comparison. You've chosen compassion, truth, movement, play, rest, purpose. And every one of those choices has shaped you, not just emotionally, but physically. They've softened your edges and brightened your spirit. They've written light into your face and ease into your bones. They've made you vibrant, not in spite of your years, but because of them. That's the real secret. Not youth, aliveness. Not perfection, presence. Not chasing some impossible standard, but choosing over and over to live with integrity, with heart, with joy. So the next time someone says, you don't look your age, maybe you'll smile and think, no, I don't. I look like someone who's finally living free. And the truth is, that freedom looks damn good on you.